This is a family that I saw brought to its knees. And it's a real shock that in Britain today that can happen.
And of course, on paper, none of these things should happen. Almost be unbelievable. Fact stranger than fiction. It's our reality, her truth.
Feeling separate. Not many parents, carers will understand. Just know what it's like, how life is for siblings. The utter exhaustion as a parent. Fighting to keep your child alive. Feeling different. Almost as if the daily experience of life had to be hidden.
And then she started she'd cry or she'd get upset and she'd start going blue and effectively dying. And it was happening clocked to sort of pretty much once a week. We were having ambulances here so often that they came in and put the report on the fridge instead of having to fill it in when they came in. I had to give her CPR on that floor I don't know how many times. What's so painful, it wouldn't have taken much to have someone walk through that hell with us.
What I needed was so I could speak at meetings, but I couldn't get them to believe us. I couldn't access those because the gate was locked, which as a parent, what can you do? Well, I mean, you can't. You're not heard. On reflection, why did I write so many recommendations in my reports outlining my assessment, diagnoses, ways forward to help learn at the school, stay safe and support for the road to recovery? So many agencies present at those meetings, why so detailed? Because we were dealing with a bunch of professionals, including the senior leaders and SENCO at the school, who just refused to listen.
It's hard to describe the pain of not knowing whether your child will live or die, not knowing if they'll make it through the night, powerlessness when you fought to get the help that you need, and that intense feeling of having to walk the path alone because you couldn't get support. I fought so hard. The SENCO rang me up a couple of occasions before I went to work saying, you know, we've got much worse children in this school and this has taken an awful lot of time.
He was isolating him from the class. making him sit at the front with his back to everybody. He would single him out, make him sit against a wall. If you wanted to pick what to do to damage a child, and a child from his background, do that. Make sure he really does sink. Anyway, we had to challenge that.
And the school, the SENCO, was very obstructive in it. It was very clear that she didn't want her to be assessed. So the psychiatrist, gave us a list of strategies to give to the school, which were basically strategies for ADHD, which I brought into the SENCO. Not one of them was ever put in place for her.
I've worked in schools. I know the reality. There's an attitude with teachers that parents are the nuisance that get in the way. Like they're idiots. They don't know anything.
And then you become like the identified patient in that sort of system, and so you become a sick person. As a parent, you're then seeing, when you go into that whole sort of system, you're put into that extreme role of, well, you're not cooperating with us, and you become the person in the system.
Parents get criticised for being pushy. Overly assertive parents. I think it's very hard for practitioners to accept that parents are the experts of their own children.
Parent experiences needn't be like this though. They can have really positive experiences with professionals that support their children. When parents' expertise is valued, when they're genuinely included in decisions, and when they're supported in the ways that they really need to be supported, then it can have a hugely beneficial impact on the lives of their families.
For 4 terrible years no one listened to us and all we met was obstruction. Then one day an educational psychologist did. Then she listened to our daughter and it was like a domino effect. She then talked to a psychiatric nurse who also listened and talked to a psychiatrist and he listened to us and then everyone listened to him. Once we were listened to and our daughter heard, we never looked back. Her life is better, all our lives, the whole family's. I bet that educational psychologist has got no idea how much change she affected that day.
Well, there was one person that we came across, a psychologist, and she was amazing, really fantastic. She helped us to understand and learn about dissociation, and she assessed Lucy as having major depression and severe dissociation, so she helped us to understand what it was that we were living with.
And if it hadn't been for Anne, I think we'd still be swimming in treacle, because when I spoke to her, she gave me the information, she began to signpost me. So from Anne onwards, I think such changes were made.
So much of what happens to our families depends on the professionals that we encounter. How they listen, how they involve us as parents, and how they help us move through systems that can, at times, be utterly bewildering. So this is our attempt to reach out to you so that parents needn't have the experiences outlined in this film. Our lives and the lives of our children are depending on it.